How you doing? Welcome back. All right, when we left, we had taken the backbone out of this chicken. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take and get the keel bone out. We want to be able to lay this chicken flat in a roasting pan. So what you're going to do is just run your fingers down either side of this keel bone, and you just work your fingers under, and you hold it, and you just rock it back, and it comes right out, okay? So once that's out, the chicken will then lay flat, all right? And we can take and lay it out flat, and now it's going to cook a whole lot faster. You don't have to worry about it taking 2 hours because you've got it up. We're going to take the wings and tuck those underneath, all right? And then we can even go so far as to take and you put a slit right here in this fat. You take the drumstick and put through it. Again, just right, a little slit, just enough to get the end of it through. And all this is doing is dressing up your presentation, making it look a little nicer when it comes to the table. Because I know right now you're probably having a hard time believing it's going to be nice when it gets to the table. But trust me, it will. And not only that, it will be delicious. Now, I'm going to slip right back here and wash some of the chicken off of my hands. And please, 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 when you're working with poultry, keep a separate board for the poultry. Also keep plenty of soap and warm water on hand. You do not want to cross-contaminate things. People will get sick, and that is the last thing you need. So, now that we're back up here, what we're going to do is we're going to take and get out of the drawer here. Let me find something to get, and I've got some butter here. And we're going to take what's roughly a stick of butter that's been allowed to soften to room temperature, and we're going to put that in a bowl, okay? Now, I'm going to take our chicken, and I'm going to move it off here behind me, and I'm going to go over here to the refrigerator and get some fresh herbs. Now, also grab a fresh cutting board. Now, you notice I've got a separate cutting board now because we're done with the chicken portion, all right? We don't want to make anybody sick, so clean our knife. And now, what I've got tonight is fresh sage and fresh thyme and a little bit of oregano that is just a touch past its time. But this is a place where you can use some herbs and things that really you couldn't use if they were going to be the star attraction because they're not going to be pretty enough. But we're just going to take some sage and strip it off of the stems, okay? And we're going to do the same thing with thyme. The easy way with the thyme is just hold it and peel the leaves off by going the opposite way that they grow. So they're all growing up this way, so if you just hold gently and just pull them down. What we're going to make here is called a compound butter. This is something you can use on chickens. It's great to top a steak with. In the previous show, we showed you how to break down the tenderloin into beautiful filet mignons, and this is a way that you can make those even better. And like I said, I've got some oregano here that really has seen better days, but we're going to pick the prettier ones off. And then we're just going to take and run a knife through this, and we're going to throw it into our butter. Now, the butter, so you know, is unsalted. Anytime we're cooking and we mention butter, we're talking unsalted butter. When you use unsalted butter in the kitchen and salted butter in on the table. If you take and ball all your herbs up real tight, all right, remember I showed you, keep your knuckles back, and you take small bites, we can mince these herbs up real fast with just one or two passes. But make sure you keep your fingers back and keep your thumb out of the way. We're going to turn them. Now we're going to do the good old trick you see on every show where we just run the knife right through it real fast. All I want to do is mince these up. I don't want to turn them into a paste on the board. Okay? And now we're going to take that and go right into our bowl with our butter. Now, also, good old kosher salt. Remember, we talked about that? Always use kosher salt. It has a much bigger flake to it, and it's going to pinch different. So it looks like I'm using a lot of salt here, but it's not the equal amounts with table salt. If it was table salt, you'd be using twice as much salt of kosher as you would table. So if something calls for a teaspoon of table salt, it's 2 teaspoons of kosher salt. Now, this is my seasoning blend that I make in the restaurant. I meant to tell y'all last time how to do it, and quite honestly got going so fast I forgot. So I'm going to tell you tonight. When I say salt and pepper on the show, 9 times out of 10, when I'm talking about pepper, this is what I'm talking about. And this is a combination in equal parts of white pepper, black pepper, onion powder, and garlic powder. Okay? Just equal parts of those by volume, not by weight. So, and I keep this right next to the stove in these Tupperware containers. So put a nice healthy pinch of that in. All right? And then we're going to have to get our hands dirty. We're going to get in here with this butter, and we're going to take and mush all this together. What we want is all of these herbs to be distributed through this butter. And by doing this, we're going to be able to now take this compound butter and we're going to put it between the skin and the meat on the chicken. Okay? Skin is designed to do 2 things: keep things in and keep things out. So if you've ever wondered why you put all these great seasonings on a chicken and all that tastes good is the skin, that's why. The skin is doing exactly what it's supposed to. It's keeping some things in and some things out. So it's keeping the flesh in and it's keeping the salt and all that stuff out. So going back over here and get our board, bring it back. So we've got our chicken here. Now, up here on the top where the neck would be, we're going to reach our fingers up under and we're going to loosen the skin. Okay? And we just want to loosen all this up. Get it as loose as you can up under there. This is also a great way to do a Thanksgiving turkey. Now, we're going to reach over here to our bowl and we're going to get some of the butter and we're going to put it underneath, and then we're going to just smush it around in there so that it gets all over the inside. And you can see it through the skin that it's distributing all through the chicken. And again, I know a lot of people don't like handling raw poultry and raw beef products and all. You just have to get used to it, and you'll be glad you did after you taste it. So, but put as much of this under as you feel. Like I said, this was about a stick of butter. I'm going to put most all of it underneath and get it down into the legs. And like I said, from here, it's kind of easy to mash around. Now, we're going to take a clean towel, and we want to pat the outside of the chicken dry. Okay? So we're going to pat it dry, and then we're going to take some more of our butter right here, and we're going to rub all over the outside. So, when we come back, I'm going to show you how we're going to take and make a roasting rack out of vegetables that are going to help season our chicken as we go. So, stick around, and when we come back, we're going to have the final step on getting this to the oven and getting it to the table. Thanks.